my garden. This is my happy place in the summertime. But it wasn't always this way. In fact, about 20 years ago when I first tried gardening, I was really busy and I hardly had time to plant it, let alone weed and water. And my garden became a joke among people we knew. I felt like it wasn't for me. I couldn't garden. But then a few years later, life settled down a little bit and I gave it another try. And honestly, I just love it. I'm just going to tell you what I do for a successful garden. First of all, in the spring, I sit down and I plan my garden. And I go through my Vessie's growing guide and I think about companion planting, which is, you know, some vegetables grow better if they're planted beside other vegetables. And then the other thing is crop rotation. So I think about where did I plant stuff last year and change it up a bit. Then I have to wait patiently. And here on PEI, I have to wait very patiently because the weather doesn't start warming up till June. But as the weather warms, I plant according to the specific recommendations for each thing. So for example, lettuce germinates best in a cooler soil, so I can plant that first. And then of course when you have plants like tomatoes and peppers, you certainly want to wait until after the last frost date. There's a few things to maintain as you know, as your plants start to come up. Radishes and carrots and onions, you want to thin them out. It's going to help you produce a nicer product in the end. And did you know that tomatoes have female leaves that are pointed and male leaves that are rounded? And the tomatoes are produced on the female branches. So when you have the male branches, when you see that they're starting to die off, you can just snap those off, and then the energy from the plant goes into producing more fruit. This year, I even planted some cut flowers that I can make summer bouquets out of. The pollinators really like them. Just listen to that happy bumblebee. I also like to plant a border of marigolds around my garden, and that helps with certain pests. So now there's just the 3 W's left. We've got weeding, watering, and watching it grow. So weeding is probably the worst part about the gardening, let's be real, and it's the most easy to procrastinate. But as soon as that weather warms up, those weeds are going to take control. So the bigger plants, just take a shovel and dig the weeds up. Look at these worms. Yay! Worms are awesome. We want worms in our garden. Then weed around the plants. If you can stay on top of it while the plants are small, just hoe between the rows. The hoeing will break down the weeds and actually produce green manure for your garden. What your garden needs is about 1 inch of water a week, spread out over about 3 times of watering. So keep in mind how much rain you're getting and water accordingly for that. I have a watering system in place where I have 4 sprinklers spread out throughout my garden, and they each have a timer. I can actually have my garden watered before I even get out of bed in the morning. Once you have all that work done, and that work is never done, but when you can take a break, you know what? All that's left is sitting back and watching your garden grow. For Homemaking Jewels, this is Julia Stewart, simply making your house your home.